Hey boys, welcome back to some more Nrl Supercoach 2022. It's going to be the round one review, and oh man, it was it was a tough round one of Supercoach. Boy, oh boy, I don't and it's most people are in the same boat. I would say I'll go through our leagues at the end of the video, but I did check them out briefly the other day, and I did see someone pulled an 1100 odd score, which was huge. I think the winner got like a 1200, but man oh man, anything above 1,000 and you're in one of the top echelons. But we scored 912, top 28%, 35,249 for the first round. And honestly, it doesn't really matter on it. Like, obviously the people that got like those 1100, 1200 scores, yeah, they are out in front by a fair bit, but I'm not going to say their teams are bad, but they definitely, I don't know, it's just a weird, it's just one of those, it's just a week where a lot of, I guess most of the top players just didn't score well. Like, I can't think of, other than like Payne Haas, I can't really think of any of the top echelon players actually scoring any decent points. Some of them scored okay, but nothing like we were used to last year. And I don't even think it's, I don't think that it's going to be like a really low scoring year. It was just a weird round one, because you look at the Eels Titans, like, the amount of points in that one, and even still, you know, Gutherson didn't score that well, Fafita didn't score that well. Just a weird round. But we'll go into the nitty gritty here, see how we did overall. And there was one. So as you can see straight off the bat here, I avoided the Brandon Smith 1 point injury affected. Obviously, terrible news for Brandon Smith. But I went with Reed Marnie. He only scored 37, which I honestly cannot believe he only scored 37. He kicked a 40-20. He kicked a 40-20, which I thought a 40-20 was worth like 10 points. I don't know how he only got 37 points. I am absolutely shocked at that one. I didn't think he would get like a huge score, but I was expecting 50, 60, 37. But yeah, like I was saying, I did miss out on the Smith one. If you saw my last video for my updated team, I did have Brandon Smith at hooker, and I was very keen on him. I did see a couple of people comment that they didn't think he was, you know, the best option, and I wasn't. Maybe that put a little bit of doubt into my head. You know, maybe it made me think a little bit more about it. But honestly, it was just, I don't know. It came to Thursday, and I sort of thought, I still thought Smith would have scored really well playing at lock. But the biggest concern I had was, how many minutes is he going to get at lock? But whereas Reed Marnie, who is the same price, you know he's going to play big minutes at dummy half. So I just thought he was probably a more safe option. And then obviously the injury to Smith. So we did get fortunate on that count, but also we only got a net 36 gain off it. Like, it wasn't even, you know, I think the only dummy half that scored well was Appy Coruscant. He got like 80, 90 points. I can't think, did he get a try? He got a couple of try assists, I think. But yeah, Appy scored well. Chris Randall, who I didn't even play on the bench, scored more points, 47. Oh man. My front rowers, I'm pretty happy with the front row. Now, obviously, Payne Haas scored big. He scored like 90. Probably scored, low 90s, high 80s. I don't know what he finished off with, but yeah, definitely one of the highest scoring for the round, which, you know, looking at it, I was like, oh man, maybe I should have started with Haas. But I mean, I look at my front row, 450 for Arrow, 62, and then Bullimore, 62. He did score a try, obviously, which bounced it up a little bit, but also he didn't get a line break from the try. So, you know, I saw a few people commenting that Bullimore wasn't really doing anything, and he still he's still got like 40 odd in base. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with the front row I chose. I would love to have Payne Haas, and honestly, there's some things I could do to potentially bring him in, because Nrl Brown, who I didn't play, I did pick him. Obviously, I've got him here, but I didn't play him as a reserve. And honestly, I'm sort of like, I don't really think too much of him. I don't think too much of him. So potentially, I could try to upgrade him to someone better, make a little bit of cash somewhere, and then upgrade him. Depending, we'll see. I'm very torn on if I'm going to. I don't know. I'm probably gonna. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what I'm going to do with trades this week. I might even not make any trades, but where's the fun in that? We have so many trades to use. Josh King for the Storm, 41. Very good. And, I mean, his stocks have just skyrocketed. Obviously got that starting lock spot, and with Brandon Smith now out for quite a while, he'll theoretically maintain that spot. So Josh King, he's going to be one of the cheapies of the year for sure. I mean, he only got 41 points, but that's pretty solid. He'll make some pretty quick, pretty decent cash, and then try to move him on. In the back row, so we went big in the back row. It didn't really pan out. So Dave Fafita, 60. You know, not what you want out of a 740k guy. He didn't really do anything. The Titans scored a lot of points, but Fafita really wasn't part of any of it. He did make one line break, but they just didn't. I don't know. They didn't really use him that well. I really liked the little play he did with Jaden Campbell back on the inside. It was only for bloody Dylan Brown with the read to stop it. I thought it was a beautiful little set play. But yeah, Fafita just didn't really get too much footy. But he still scored 60 points, so I don't hate it. Angus Crichton, 650k. 66 points, and then Tamalolo, 53. So Tamalolo, I'm honestly, he's a guy that, and this is the thing, I'm probably just going to give a lot of these guys just one more week to see, but Todd Payton, what is wrong with you? Like, honestly, Todd Payton is one of the most idiotic coaches I have ever witnessed. He literally, he has turned like once in a generation type forward, one of the best forwards you will ever see, the best locks in the world. He's turned him into nothing. Now, obviously, there's a bit to be said about his fitness and carrying a few injuries last year. But what is he doing? Like, why did he play him in the front row? Like, I'm shocked. He still scored 53. It's not terrible for the price, but as you can see, my reserves, I played all my reserves, all my back rollers on the reserve. Elias Katoa, 76, Jeremiah Nanai, 56, and Tuolangi, 46. I actually, Nanai, I'm shocked Nanai didn't score like 70 plus, because he was the one Cowboy that looked really good. It looked like he made so many tackle breaks. It looked like he had a couple of line breaks. I don't know how he only scored 56 points. I'm a little shocked, but he is definitely quite the player. And that's the thing. I could definitely just play one of these three guys as my starting back rowers, and then Tamalolo I could just put to a cheapie, and then that could free up a lot of cash to upgrade to Nrl Brown. But again, I might just give him one more week to see what happens. So, you don't want to make any panic trades first round, especially with so many low scores. It's like, what's the point? And then, yeah, talking about the reserves there, like I said, and then Tuolangi, 46. I don't really know. I didn't get to see most of this game. I was sort of looking at the scores updating, and it looked like Tuolangi was on like 40 points at half time, so I don't really know what happened. I can't remember. I don't know how many minutes he played, but I mean, he's he's definitely a player. So I think, you know, a lot of people are picking him to be like one of the cheapies of the year, which I can't fault. He's got that attacking upside game. Only 46, but still not too shabby. Then we move into the halves. So Sammy Walker, this is where it starts to really fall downhill, I would say. It started pretty well. My Supercoach, the first game especially, the Seagulls-Panthers game, it started pretty solidly, with obviously the Bullymore pickup, and then we'll see later on. But it started to go downhill, and the Roosters, oh boy, the Roosters were abysmal. The Roosters were so bad. Walker scored 24. Did he get one goal, I think? Or did he miss it? I can't even remember the score. But didn't really get any sort of attacking points. The Roosters were just, they were pretty shocking. Brad Schneider, 45. Should have played him. But he looks like quite the cheapie. Looks like a very good player. Unfortunately, I just saw on Twitter that I think he now has COVID, so he's probably going to be missing this week, which doesn't really matter too much in the whole scheme of things, because I wouldn't have played him probably anyway, but he's definitely a handy person to have in your 17 at a pinch, but it looks like he's not going to be playing this week. Dylan Brown, 40. Now, that was another late change, actually. So obviously I went with Reed Marnie, and then also, instead of Munster, I must have made a couple of changes, because obviously going to Dylan Brown, it freed up quite a bit of cash, and I don't know, I still think it's it's frustrating. So Dylan Brown, again, he started really well, and he was on some decent points at half time. Their attack was looking pretty good, obviously scoring a lot of points, the Eels. I'm not going to talk about that game in this video. I'll just say what a load of bullshit that game was. But unfortunately, with poor old Sean Russell getting injured, which also people are carrying on about the Campbell tackle. Nothing wrong with the tackle. Absolutely nothing wrong with the tackle. He didn't lead with the knees at all. It was and not even that it was an accidental hit. He didn't lead with the knees. It just, the way the tackle happened, obviously there was going to be contact there. And people equating it to like the old Billy Slater days of using the legs. Just absolute morons. So I'm very glad Campbell wasn't suspended for that one, because it didn't deserve it. But obviously with the injury to Russell, I guess it made sense, because they had Jake Arthur on the bench, which I still don't know why he had Jake Arthur on the bench. Like, he is actually trash. Like, he's so bad. He is worthless. Apologies if you're a Jake Arthur fan. But they had Jake Arthur on the bench, so I guess it made sense that if there was injury in the back line, they could bring Arthur on, and Dylan Brown was the man that moved to the centre, which stuffed up the Supercoach, because then obviously in the centres he didn't really see any footy. And I mean, the second half when Arthur came on, the Eels didn't score any points apart from penalty goals. Their attack was awful. Like, the game they had all the footy. They literally had all the possession and couldn't score a try when Arthur was on the field and Brown moved out to the centres. I don't know what Brad Arthur is thinking. Obviously he's trying, I don't know. I guess he's trying to give his son some game time, but he's just not good enough for NRL. Like, it's just that clear. And yeah, their attack was awful when Arthur came on, and obviously it stuffed up Brown's Supercoach points. But I'm still happy with Brown. I think Brown will score some decent points if he can actually play 5'8". That would be lovely. And then Lockie Ilias, 28. You know, they didn't score any points, and yeah, he's copping a bit of flack, but I think he's a good player, honestly. The Rabbitohs, I think, are going to struggle without Reynolds, and obviously the Broncos were the Broncos were pretty good. The Rabbitohs' attack wasn't great for sure, but yeah, I think Ilias can make himself into a decent half, and he's going to make some decent cash for sure. Then we move into the back line. So this is where it started out well on that Thursday night. I played Tago as well, obviously. 71 points, looked very, very sharp, looked very good. A lot of tackle breaks, scored a try. Jack Bird, 69. Pretty happy with the pickup there. Kurt Mann, 40. So I think this was the other trade that I made when I downgraded to Brown. I brought Kurt Mann back in, and yeah, he only scored 40 points, which again, I gotta give him another week. I think next week is gonna be the clincher, because I can definitely downgrade Mann to a lot of other cheaper options, or I'll go through the rest of the team, and then I'll talk about what I can do. And then Billy Smith stunk it up. 15 points. Just again, the Roosters were so bad. I'm not reading too much into it. I think Smith can go pretty well. Just the Roosters just had a poor night. Obviously, Sawali didn't play. Will Penasini, 47, who I didn't play. It didn't really hurt me too much. Like the amount of points the Eels scored, I couldn't believe Penasini didn't get anything too much higher. But thankfully, he didn't hurt me too bad. And then Valia, I think, did he get injured? I think he might have got injured in this game, so he might be a guy I look to trade potentially, unfortunately as well. And then where it all went sour, the Roosters, dude, the Roosters. I was not expecting the Roosters to really kill my Supercoach in round 1 against the Knights. I thought the Knights would be pretty good. Like I was pretty impressed with them in the trials, like I said in my preview, but I was expecting a high-scoring game. Tedesco, I had the captaincy on him, 32 points. That is rough. That's a rough first-round captaincy. Thankfully, again, though, most people chose, Tedesco or, Turbo, who scored probably like 60. So it's still, it is a bit of a difference, but, a lot of people chose guys that didn't score that well, thankfully. And then Ryan Pappenhausen scored 71. Pretty darn good. Yeah, happy with Pappy. So, yeah, that's the team. That's the score. I'm still happy with the team overall. So the thing I could do, right, so Tamalolo, we'll see what happens, but he's definitely on the chopping block, and I could definitely just downgrade him to a, potentially a bottom dollar cheapie, or another second rower who is fairly cheap, who can make some coin, that could free up some cash. And then I could upgrade Kurt Mann to someone like there's some good guys in the 400 mark, like Zach Lomax scored pretty well, or really well. David Nofaluma is around that 400k, who I really wanted. I guess there's Ewan Aiken as well, potentially. So I could make a little bit of cash and upgrade Kurt Mann to someone a little bit higher echelon, or I could downgrade both of them, and then to Noel Brown I could upgrade to Payne Haas, and that sounds pretty tempting as well. So if we let's look at the second rowers quickly. So yeah, Kikau was very good, 87. He only played 57 minutes, but man, oh man, they gave him the ball a lot, and he was devastating. And I mean, I was keen on him, but even with him scoring 87 points, I'm not keen on the 57 minutes. I'm just not keen on, because if he doesn't score a try or set up a try, he's not going to score that well. So yeah, the minutes, I expected him to play more minutes with no Capel, but it just didn't happen. So even with a big round 1 score, I personally wouldn't be jumping on Kikau. Teague Wilton, 427. I think did he get injured? I know he got put on report. Did he get injured as well? I can't remember. Sean Lane, 83. Josh Curran. So Josh Curran, who I was pretty keen on to start the year. I didn't end up going, but he scored well. Hudson Young, 80. Martin, 80. Bloody Frizzell, 77. Tom Gilbert. Tom Gilbert there, 76. So he's a bit of a smoky now. He did score a try, so I wouldn't read too much into him, but he's sort of taken Lukey's spot because there was a big reshuffle. It was very strange. Who else here? Honestly, someone like a Trent Liero could get more minutes with some injuries to the Storm players. Kurt Capel was just fantastic for the Broncos. And then Carrigan was pretty solid, who I was keen on. Joe Tarpany. Corey Harawira-Naira was also pretty good, got some decent minutes. And then we look at, big Isaiah Papali'i, only 58. But yeah, there's some option. Cameron Murray, 10% of people have Murray. He only scored 54. Not great. Yeah. Any other high owned players didn't score that well. 5% of people had Cohen Hess. That's a little surprising. Ryan Madison, 42. Jeez, I thought he would have scored okay. Bunty Afoa? Why do so many people have Bunty Afoa? I mean, I guess he's a bit cheap. Helam Lukey. 10% of people still have Lukey, even though he started on the bench. I mean, probably a lot of people just didn't know you could sort of reverse trades. But yeah, there's some stuff I could do. I'll look at that more at the preview, and then we'll look at the leagues quickly. So we'll look at our first league. I think this is the one where someone scored like 1,100 points. Does it say? Can I not see the scores? I could see them. I could see it when it was like live updating, but maybe that's a bit of a shame, because yeah, it's only like showing you when the actual round one will start for the league, but yeah, when it was like live updating, it actually showed everyone's scores. But oh well. Yeah, anyone that scored well, you can put it in the comment section. I don't know, who was it, dude? I can't remember who it was, but someone in one of the leagues was like, probably a couple of guys got 1,100 or so. There was some decent scores in our leagues, but yeah, that'll wrap up the first review of round one of Supercoach 2022. A rough one, but I'm not gonna make any real panic trades. Honestly, I'm gonna keep it pretty much standard. Gonna give most people another shake. Yeah, I don't see the benefit of like trading anyone at this point. You know, even like I'm not going to trade Sam Walker. Like, sure, like you got to expect that. And I know a lot of people are going to jump on the Mitch Moses train, but like, yeah. I mean, Moses might continue to average 80 for the rest of the year, but it's, you know, they're not going to verse the Titans and score that many points every week. So yeah, it's one of those things. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like and comment, and I'll see you guys in the next one.